me today. My goal is to just highlight local leaders in our small town community of Bel Air, and I am starting with you, so I appreciate you being my guinea pig. This setting is kind of just to bring awareness to what you're doing outside of all the people in the world that maybe don't know that you exist. I find that a little bit hard to believe because you know so many people. And I've been to a few of your women nights, which are always packed full of fun and inspiration and goal setting. So let's just start there. Again, my goal is to let people know who you are and why and how you've done all the things that you've done. So let's go there. Tell me who you are.
Yeah.
About yourself, your family.
I'm Krista Demcher. I am a wife of an awesome man, Brian, and I'm a mama of 3 kids, one who just turned 13 yesterday, can't believe it, and then a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. So that's my real, true essence, my identity that I'm the most proud of, but I'm also a business owner, an entrepreneur, and a coach and a leader to hundreds of awesome women.
Yes.
And I've done all that through a platform partnered with a company called Stella & Dot, and built a really awesome organization.
And I think that's what attracts me most to you, is that your hub is your household.
Mm-hmm.
So this home is exactly why you do everything you do. And also what attracts me to you is that your first goal is to inspire, educate, and grow them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you are beyond that, like what else is there?
Yes.
So that feels really, really good. Stella & Dot, tell me a little bit about why Stella & Dot. You didn't start there. I know a little bit about you.
Yeah.
You raised by mom and dad, went to college, met Brian, and you were going to do what?
So I got my master's degree in counseling. I worked in counseling for about 6 years. And then we had our second daughter. And I had this pull to stay home. I wanted to be more present with them, and I just, we were blessed enough to be able to let me try that out. And very early on into my stay-at-home mom journey, I loved it, but I really was missing me. I was missing that part of me that was able to use my brain. And not that you don't use your brain as a stay-at-home mom, because you definitely do, but it was a selfish desire. I wanted something that was just for me outside of my children.
I always say that you're not mom and you're not hun when you're at work.
Yes.
So it's just a different version of yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think as women, we all need that. Maybe it's not a 9-to-5 job, maybe it's not running your own business, but you need something outside of wife and mom.
Right.
Whether it's a hobby or a group, a women's circle that you're a part of, I really think we need that. And so I was missing that, and I felt like I became a professional job searcher because I knew I didn't want to go back to counseling full-time, because to be 100% honest, I felt like I was worth more than I was getting paid there.
Right.
You don't make a lot of money in education or in counseling, and my hours and my value became much more important to me after having kids, So long story short, after a lot of searching, I stumbled on Stella & Dot. I stumbled right past it because I thought, this is not the answer for me. I wasn't really an accessories type person. Yeah, exactly. Like, moving on, keep going. And sales just has this sometimes really icky connotation, especially direct sales. And this was almost 10 years ago. So things have changed now, but back then it was like, gosh, I'm gonna have to sit there and sell old school Tupperware parties. That is not what I want to do. So I kept searching. However, there was a pull back to Stella & Dot because of the company's mission.
Okay.
And which is about empowering women. And I thought, maybe I just give this a try. And it was really my husband that was like, just stop overthinking it. Like, what do you have to lose? The investment is so small, just try. And that's kind of how I began. And I did not have a rocket ship start. It was about a year of me really leaning into it and believing.
Because this was 10 years ago.
This was 10 years ago.
No social media.
Yeah, Facebook.
We barely had Facebook.
Right. And it was, I had to own it, and
so you were doing belly-to-belly connections.
Right,
and on the phone.
Yeah, and it was a mindset thing for me, though. There were lots of people having a lot of success. It just wasn't me in the beginning because I didn't fully lean in. I didn't fully believe in probably what I was capable of. I think it was probably a self-confidence thing, because I still had this hang up with, I'm in sales, I'm selling jewelry, and I'm a professional woman. How did I end up here? And
so it was your mindset.
It was my mindset, 100%.
Okay.
And that is such an important lesson for me in helping other women. And then it actually was a life event that made me kick it up.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So Brian had like a very random fall down a flight of stairs holding our daughter. Like, it was just one of those freak things that happened, and tore up his knee, and basically had to be out of work for 3 months. And it was just kind of that moment where I'm like, I'm not really bringing in an income, and here is the breadwinner of our house that is out of work. And I mean, he had, we still had padding, and it wasn't like we were in this financial situation, but it was more in my mind realizing, like, I don't want to be in that situation where I'm not able to step up and provide for my family if they need it. And so it was that, coupled with going to a training right around that time and hearing other people's success, and finally realizing, like, if they can do it, I can do it too.
So you got in. So, and you have told me that you are now, for 6 years, 6-figure income, selling jewelry. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, sales is sales is sales. There are people in my real estate profession that come to us all the time for mentorship or leadership or coaching, or how do you do what you do? And you can't teach that.
Right.
You can't teach hustle and grit and I'm going to get in here and make this happen. So that's pretty powerful, because I'm like, when you told me that, I was like, I actually think I cursed a little. Like,
Okay.
So that was really, really good. Tell me, when did you decide after that life event, you're like, what was that aha moment? You're like, okay, here's the breadwinner of our family. We're going to upscale things a little bit. What was that moment?
I think it was having 2 months of Brian, being laid up. I mean, and it was just his knee, but it was like a whole leg situation, and he couldn't move, and having 2 young children at home. And, I was younger then. I mean, that was 9 years ago. So I think you're just more naive, and you don't realize that you can be in these situations. And I don't like to feel powerless. I have control issues a little bit, tiny bit.
Well, there was, and the reason I want to focus on that a little bit, because a lot of people can get stuck there. They can get stuck in, I'm the victim, right? Here I am, a mom to 2 kids, and now my husband is here, and we're going to lose our house and all our things. But you, in that moment, decided to do something, right? And did you see, like, I'm going to make money immediately, or did you see a big business?
Yeah, no, I just saw potential.
Okay.
And we weren't in a situation where it was like, oh, how are we going to pay our bills? I mean, we were well set up, but it just was that eye-opening moment of like, this could happen to anybody at any time, and maybe this isn't the moment for us, but I like to feel like I am a contributor to our family, and I'm the emotional support, but I wanted to be able to help support us as well. And so I went to a corporate training at that time, and that's when I heard stories of what people were building. And I think my eyes hadn't totally been open to that yet, and I heard numbers of what people were making, and I do have a competitive spirit, and so I was like, well, what does she have that I don't have, And I've always had...
You have great hair and beautiful eyes. Like, you can make it happen.
I'm like, I've always believed in myself, and I have that quietly competitive spirit. I'm not like an in-your-face, I'm gonna...
Quiet giant.
Yeah, and it just spurred me to action. And going to a training, I mean, it was so different back then. Right now, there's so much training, and everything's available, and it wasn't like that. And so I think it was just that moment of hearing what I needed to do and hearing about the potential that made me go home and be like, I'm doing this.
Okay. So you got in, and then you're selling jewelry. I imagine you're doing jewelry shows, more out in the households of others. That's how I met you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Britt Fisher, for
I
that
know,
amazing
I like
connection.
Britt
So you're out in the community, you're meeting people, and that's what I love, is that I see this emotional support that you give your family. I see you giving that to other women, and I see you giving that to the community in which you live. It's not something you just keep right here and then you don't share. So for me, I think your business is bigger than jewelry. It is that counseling. It is that you can do anything. It is that empowering of women. And you then see this shift in your business, which is kind of like where I'm like, wow, she does this really high level. It's when now we're not necessarily putting things on the tabletops anymore. It's all online. Mm-hmm. So how have you embraced social media?
Yeah. So, I'm not like a digital native. I'm older.
So it's not natural to you.
Yeah. So I think, we didn't grow up with, I think even my sister, who's 6 years younger, she has a different grasp on technology than I did because she...
Tim.
Yeah. Right. Like they grew up a little bit.
Although I might note he's not 6 years younger.
That's right. But I understand that in order to always be growing, you have to innovate and you have to embrace change, whether you like it or not. And so very early on, I realized like this is a platform, and it started with Facebook really. This is a platform that I can create influence and also put things out there that people might relate to, and not about jewelry, just about life and motherhood and being a woman and your confidence. So I can put things out there and people will relate to it, and then they're gonna pay attention to me. And then when I say like, oh, and by the way, like I'm wearing this necklace and I really love it, I have an audience already. And I'm not doing it because I'm gonna just get people to pay attention so I can sell to them. To me, it's the whole picture. Mm-hmm. And social media is an awesome tool. Like it's so good. And I can be in somebody's house and be in front of 10 or 12 women, but I can be on Instagram and be in front of thousands. Mm-hmm. It's really, really powerful. And so once I understood the power behind that, I realized I have to lean in. I don't have a choice.
I see you really killing Instagram, which is what I have trouble with, mm-hmm. because I am of the Facebook generation. I say that to even my clients. And I kind of just hang out there, and that's where my people are. Mm-hmm. And they haven't gravitated to Instagram, mm-hmm. but you are intentionally putting yourself out here, mm-hmm. and you can do things well beyond my measure. Click, here's a picture. So do you have to study that, or are you just figuring that out from your kids?
No, it's learning. I think I really love learning. I feel like I'm a lifelong learner, and it's a lot of podcasts and a lot of watching what other people are doing and hearing their tips. And I follow like business influencers. I'm not so much into like fashion influencers, even though I guess you would say I'm in the fashion scope. I am more interested in how are people building their businesses, and I think like right now, and don't take offense to this, but like if you are naive about anything, or if it's because of your own choosing, we live in this world where you just go and Google and you can get any information you want, or it's because you just haven't focused on it. You know what I mean? And for me, I have intentionally focused on growing in that way and learning, and it's also like trial by error. I'm just putting things out there that I know will fail.
That went out wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you just have to embrace, like, I'm going to put things out there and they're going to flop. And, I really haven't had nasty comments, but I know there are people that are like rolling their eyes, and you really just have to build up that armor that, like, you're not here for them. Right. You're here for the people that do care, and that impact is so much bigger than the small percentage of people who might not.
So I'm going to sidestep there for a minute, because let's talk about that, because you said the word focus, mm-hmm. right? So we've chosen not to focus on that because we all have the same amount of time in the 24 hours we're given each day. You're a mom and a wife and, a business leader, coach, mentor to, hundreds of women. How do you find that time? Mm-hmm. Like what is the structure of a day in the life of Krista Demcher look like?
It's so different every day. So my youngest is still not in full day school. He goes every morning of the week. And I have had a kid at home with me the entire time I've built my business, in some way, shape, or form. I've never had a year where everyone's been in school all day. When Bennett, my third, was born, I did hire a nanny to come in for him. At that time, I think it was 1 or 2 days a week, because I quickly learned, like, even though he's just a newborn, you always have him in your arm, and I really needed some help. And so that was 5 years ago. And that is when I saw a pretty big shift in my business, because I created more structured time for myself. So every day is different. I mean, I try to wake up early so I can get in my workout and I can get ahead on maybe some emails, catch up on some things before the kids and the crazy breakfast, and make sure you have your school bag and get on the bus, and then I drive Bennett to school. So, you know, I have a good hour and a half of really productive time before all that happens. Yeah.
Okay.
And then when Bennett goes to school, I've been really focused on the idea, like, that is not my time to go to Target. That is not my time to go to the grocery store or come home and do laundry. That is 3-hour block of getting work done. And it's amazing what you can accomplish when you focus.
Right.
Like, you really can fit an 8-hour day of things. I think of when I used to work in like an office, all the time wasted, all the time chatting, all the time like thinking about what to do. If you sit down and focus, you can knock that out really quickly.
Right.
So I do that, and then I pick him up. Some days he does go with his babysitter in the afternoon, so I get a full day. Other times he's with me, and that's when I'll do some errands. Or sometimes we'll come home and he'll have some quiet time and I'll get back to work. Then the kids come home, it's running them all over. We have, you know.
And I see them joining in on your projects. Like
Yes.
this month specifically, you have the Warrior Woman
Yes.
project, so they're helping wrap and stuff. So it really is a family.
It's a family business.
Okay.
It's a family business, and they understand, like, you know, I can't do that right now because I need to work. They 100% understand I am a working mom. I'm not a stay-at-home mom, and I think you have to be really clear with your family on that. And when they were younger, it was about saying, like, our goal is to go to Disney next year. So in order for us to go to Disney, mommy needs to do X, Y, and Z. And we would even create charts and thermometers and little steps for them along the way, like tracking my sales or tracking my points, you know, for whatever. And
So they're like, Mom, get back to work.
exactly. They want you to go when they're invested in it. And
Right.
it's been 10 years of them seeing the benefits of what this business has done. So
The girls,
I
especially, I
understand
see, are really like kind of paying attention to everything you're doing, especially with social media, because you have become such an influencer. You know, I almost think it's comical just being around you guys, because are they learning as well with that, or do you ever educate alongside them with how to use social media to do this, or
yeah.
is that happening in your house?
Yeah. So I am pretty strict when it comes to technology because I don't think kids' brains are developed enough to handle the pressure that can come along with trying to keep up. So my daughter just turned 13. She just recently got her first social media account, Instagram, but she has watched me, so she's very intuitive. And I think they're younger and they understand it. So she's
just picking up so fast.
right. She's very intuitive with that, but we have limits on how long she can be on every day. I mean, I keep a pretty tight ship on that sort of run.
Do they have to like plug their phones in the kitchen at night?
They do.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. I just think, you know, it's way harder. It's way easier to like be very strict and then start to let go versus like letting it be a free fall and then try to pull them back in. So from the very beginning, I kept it really, really strict, lots of guidelines. And now as we're going, I'm able to like loosen the reins a little bit.
Very cool. What would be for you one business nugget that you could say has been the most powerful over you building your career the last decade?
Oh gosh, there's so many, but probably I would say to really focus on the small wins each and every day, because I think when you are somebody that wants a lot and, you know, to get from here to here, there's so much that needs to happen. It can be discouraging and overwhelming, and I see it all the time with mentoring other women to, you know, do what I do. People give up because they don't see the success that thought they'd have right away.
Did you ever fail with that?
Myself? Well, I think the beginning of my journey, you know, I began Stella and Dot, and I just thought people were going to come up to me and say, hey, I would like to buy your necklace. And so, you know, I did get discouraged easily. And, you know, then I had that kind of tipping point that changed it. But I feel like for the last, you know, the majority of my time in business, I have realized. And I mean, it's a struggle every day. You know, you wake up and you don't feel like doing the things you need to do, or there's rejection left and right, you know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sales is sales is sales.
Exactly.
Right? So I feel like with your exposure though, and just your spirit, I mean, you could sell jewelry, you could sell shoes, you could sell cars, you could sell houses. Like,
yeah,
the sky would be the limit because it's a part of who you are
Right.
naturally. Yeah.
Right. And I was a very shy kid.
Get out.
Oh yeah. Like I was the kid at birthday parties that was hanging onto my mom's leg. I didn't want to play with anybody. And even through elementary school and high school, I still am. I'm an introverted person. Like I recharge by myself. But I've learned, and I think a lot of that is right when Brian and I got married, we moved across the country. He was in the Army, and I was living in Oklahoma and didn't know anybody else besides him. And then he would leave for long periods of time, so I had to figure it out pretty fast if I didn't want to be by myself,
Right.
you know? So I think that was a huge learning experience for me and really made me grow as a person. And then, as you know, like you cross paths with so many people and you hear so many inspiring stories and you realize like I wouldn't have you in my life. We wouldn't be in this house if I hadn't met you. I mean, at Britt's house.
Yeah.
And Britt, I met at another friend's house. Like it's crazy how you can trace things back. And so it for me, I realized like there's so much potential. There's so many good things. And so focusing.
You're just going to hang on to the nuggets you love.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yeah.
I love this one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And focusing on the small wins every day and just kind of pumping yourself up. And I know people say like do the worst task first in the day, but I don't really like that. I like to do I know. I need to pump myself up. So I'm like, okay, I can do X,
I'm
Y,
going to
and
make
Z.
myself feel really good.
Yeah, I do, because it's an inside job, you know? So like I need to do X, Y, and Z, and I know I'm going to feel good about those things, and then I can go do the things that are going to be hard and that I might be rejected on, and it'll be better because my armor is a little thicker today.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So good. Who has been your biggest cheerleader?
My husband, for sure.
Oh, that's so
yeah.
good. I always say it takes a supportive, not only spouse, it takes a supportive household.
Yeah.
Right. So, but if the husband is aligned,
Exactly.
or the partner, regardless, is aligned with your dream, right? The kids are coachable.
Absolutely.
Right? The pets are coachable. All the other things that come into that household are coachable
Yeah.
if you have two aligned spirits.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's been awesome, and he was in sales. When he got out of the Army, he transitioned into sales. And so I've learned a lot from him. Like, and we talk about, you know, I'll be like, how do you think I should handle this? And he will tell me things.
Nice
like, what do you think?
that you can
It's really
appreciate
nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. And it's so funny because I'm selling accessories and fashion things, and he's selling, I don't even know. So complicated. I don't
It's
even
medical,
know.
right?
He sells biotech.
Right.
He's selling like things with your DNA and to transplant. I mean, it's like so high level, but it's still the same skill set.
Right.
You know, we still go
Sales
do the
is
same
sales is
thing,
sales.
right? And so that's been super cool. We've done trainings together, and he's been an awesome supporter and always encouraged me to go. And because of that, my kids see that, and because of that, my two girls are seeing like this is what you deserve as a woman, and my son is seeing this is how you support a woman. I think it's really, really powerful.
That is very powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Outside of Brian, if it was someone not family related, who do you look up to?
You know, I was thinking about that. Like, I've never had like that person on a pedestal, that idol. I find inspiration in everyday people that I get to meet. I mean, I find inspiration in somebody like you that, you know, but it's true, your story of how you just, you know, decided and built, and, you know, it wasn't easy leading up to that. And I find a lot of inspiration in people. Like, I love an underdog story, somebody that like the odds were stacked against them and they just decided. You know, I think of people I've met through my business. Someone in particular always pops into my mind. She lost her husband in Afghanistan. Now she's battling breast cancer, and she's fundraising and doing all these things and putting so much good into the world. That's what I find inspiring. Yeah, like the people you just meet in your day-to-day life. Yeah.
Other than that, what's next for Krista Demcher? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, I'm excited to take what I've learned and the impact that I've had and kind of take it to the next level. So my passion is not in selling. I like my product. It's amazing.
It's always kind of like a byproduct.
Exactly.
Like, this is what I do, and I just happen to sell real estate.
Exactly.
This is what I do, and I just happen to have this.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like a lot of the people that I hear talk when I'm with you, you know, it's kind of like it's a side hustle. and it's not. Like, this is my thing is empowering women. This just happens to be my product.
Right. It's my platform. It's been my platform to empower. And, you know, I've been so lucky to have probably over 1,000 women that I've gotten to coach and mentor and have influence over in some way or another. And then in our bigger company, you know, even more than that. And so I am just thinking big. I'm dreaming big, and I would love to be able to take it out of the current platform and into a bigger scope of people that maybe.
Well, you did say you would teach a class for me.
Yes, I'm very excited to do that.
To agents and business owners all around Bel Air and Baltimore, like, she's coming, so to pay attention. Any final thoughts?
I really just want to thank you for the opportunity and also for this house. But it's
this
true.
This is a really great house.
It's true, you know, and it goes back to like those moments of like, so if, you know, I love to like trace things back. Like if I had never started Stella Dad, I would have never gone and done a trunk show at my friend Jen's house, and I would have never met Britt, and I would have never gone to Britt's house, and I would have never met you, and then I would have never thought like, maybe I should call her when she put a post out that she's looking.
I was looking for the Cads.
Yes, you were looking for a specific
house in your neighborhood.
And we'd been thinking about moving, and so I was like, Brian, should I call her? He's like, still looking at her. Sure, reach out. And then, you know, you think things aren't going to turn out, and they work out, and they do. So I want to thank both of you for the opportunity and just for the series of things that happened to land us here.
Oh my gosh, remember how many showings you had in your house? Like that first day, it was like 40 in the first 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
I had to bring you a bottle of wine and Chick-fil-A gift card
because
I was so worried about you.
Yeah. It was insane, but that's what you want, you know. That's a dream. So you guys have been so awesome, and in real estate, but just in life.
Nice. I appreciate knowing you as well.
Yeah.
Let's let people know, how can they find you, follow you, all the things, so that we can keep in touch with who you are and what you're doing.
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm just Krista Demcher, at Krista Demcher. And on Facebook, I really kind of run my personal page as it's who I am. It's all together. So Krista Senich Demcher. And I have a VIP group on Facebook also, where I focus more on fashion and fun. And then I'm also on YouTube, Style Your Life with Krista Demcher. That's the name of my VIP group also. I'm all over.
You are, which is what I have noticed, clearly.
Yeah. Trying to hit it from all angles.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank
you for spending
Thanks,
some time
Michelle.
with us this morning. And we'll be bringing Krista to you again real soon.
Thank you.